I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Peabody City Council. The City Council will convene on Thursday, June 10th, 2021, to hold a regular meeting at 7:30 for the purpose of discussing any and all business, including both in-person participation and remote participation in accordance with Chapter 40A of the Massachusetts General Laws and Governor Baker's emergency order dated March 12, 2020. This meeting of the City Council will be conducted via in-person participation as well as by remote participation. Real-time public comment during public hearings can be addressed to the Peabody City Council using the Zoom meeting platform for remote access. Users may view the meeting and make a comment or question to the chair via the audio option. This meeting is being televised live by Peabody Access Television on Comcast Cable Channel 9 and on RCN channels 15, 614, and 1161, as well as being recorded by our City Council stenographer. Let's all rise for a moment of silence. Now will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. You've heard the motion by Councilor Gould. On the motion, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould.
Yes.
Manning Martin. She is not on. Sasslaw. Yes. Welton.
Yes.
Charis.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Mitsoulas. Turco.
Yes.
Rossignol.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Thank you. Well, I'll move to the hearings portion of the evening. The petition from Peabody Municipal Light Plant. The clerk will please read the notice.
Notice is hereby given that the City Council of the City of Peabody will conduct a public hearing on Thursday evening, June 10th, 2021, at 7:30 p.m. in the Frank L. Wigan Auditorium, 24 Lowell Street, Peabody, Mass., and remotely via Zoom on the petition 21-131 submitted by the Peabody Municipal Light Plant, 201 Warren Street Extension, Peabody, Mass., requesting to install one new pole at the end of Catherine Drive at Teresa Road. For remote participation using the Zoom platform, please visit www.peabody-ma.gov under City Calendar on the homepage, or contact the City Clerk's office. Zoom information will not be available until the Friday before the meeting. Peabody City Council, Councilor Mark J. O'Neill, City Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Simoes, thank you for coming tonight. Could you please state your full name and address for the record?
Yes, Councilor. Roy Simoes, representing Peabody Municipal Light Plant. I'm the supervising electrical engineer there. Address 201 Warren Street Extension, Peabody, Mass. Good evening, Councilors. So this evening I'm here regards to a poll petition that's tied to a street light motion that was made from back in November 2020. This particular corner, there's not a proper place or of an existing pole to properly light the intersection. One of my engineers met out there with the ward councilor, and they've established a location, and that's the sole reason for the pole.
Thank you, Mr. Simoes. At this time, I'd like to ask if any member of the public would like to speak either in favor or in opposition of this application. Mrs. Travaglini, could you please state your name and address for the record if you'd like to speak either in favor or in opposition of this application?
Yes, my name is Bella Travaglini. I live at 11 Brookbridge Road. I'm here to speak in favor of the light post, and I'd like to thank Councilor O'Neill for bringing this to the City Council. Teresa Road is...
I'm sorry, Mrs. Travaglini, we're having difficulty hearing you. Is there any way you can speak closer to your audio? It's very echoey, thank you.
I'll try my best. Is this any better? Is this any better?
If you could just bear with us, we're just checking the audio.
Sorry.
Once again, sorry, if you could please proceed.
Yes, Bella Travellini, 11 Brookbridge Road, speaking in favor of the light, the new light at Teresa Road. As Mr. Simos noted, that corner of Catherine Drive and Teresa is very, very dark. There's no light post there at all. It can be really dangerous, especially on rainy nights or cloudy nights. You can't even see the roadway or the sidewalks. So I'm hopeful that the City Council will vote in favor for the new light. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, and I appreciate you reaching out to bring this issue to my attention so that we could try to work to find a solution for the neighborhood. I don't see anyone else online, or is there anyone in any other members of the public who'd like to speak either in favor or in opposition? Seeing none. At this time, could I ask Councilor Rossignol to accept late communication 1 and 2, which are, one is an email from Diane Palucci from Brookbridge Road asking us to vote in favor of this request for the light and pole, as well as Mr. Joe Travaglini of Brookbridge Road expressing support. Thank you, Councilman No.
So moved, Council President.
On the motion, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charis.
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rossignol.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 10-0.
Councilor Rossignol?
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I'd like to close the public hearing.
You've heard the motion from Councilor Rossignol. On the motion, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charis.
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rossignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 10-0.
Councilor Rossignol.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm in favor of this. I think that this is a safety issue, and I think that I appreciate the PMLP willingness to install this pole. At this point, I will open it up to any councilors if they have any questions or concerns.
Anyone else? I just wanted to comment briefly. I spoke earlier. Like I said, Councilor Rossignol stole my thunder. PMLP has been great trying to work to find a solution for this spot. It is, for those that are not familiar with the area in Ward 6, it's right off of Catherine Drive and Teresa Road. Obviously, Catherine Drive it tends to have higher speed limits, and Teresa Road, while there are sidewalks, a lot of people do tend to walk in the street with larger groups, and this is a dark area. So I'm glad that we'll able to try to find a solution for this to install not only a street pole, but a light that can give better safety for people, turning onto Teresa from Catherine, as well as coming up from either Linfield or Middleton. So thank you. Any other councils at this time? Seeing none, Councilor Rossignol.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I'd like to make a motion in favor of the municipal light plant petition 21-131, installing one new pole at the end of Catherine Drive at Teresa Road. So moved.
You've heard the motion from Councilor Rossignol. On the motion, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould.
Yes.
Sasslaw, Welton,
Yes.
Charis.
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rossignol,
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 10-0.
Thank you, Mr. Smos.
Thank you very much.
At this time, we were actually operating, doing roll call votes because we had a remote participant, but this time all members of the council are inside, so we're going to move to just voice vote at this point in time, going forward tonight, okay? At this point in time, we're going to move to reports of committee, and I'd like to ask Chairman Sasslaw to give his report on the Municipal Safety Committee. Chairman Sasslaw.
Thank you, Council President O'Neill. We had a meeting earlier this evening of the Municipal Safety Committee. On the committee, present was myself, Council Charis, Council Manning Martin, Council Turco, and Council Welton, and the rest of the other councils were also present. We had 2 items on the agenda. The first item was regarding an update on the traffic signage at Gardner Street area. Council Gould informed us that we have received funds from the Mass DOT and the Mayor's office. Signage has been going up and will be continue to be added, and we will report back once it is completed, but they have added signs and will continue to add them. As I said, we will let the public know when that project is complete. The second item on the agenda tonight was a discussion regarding costs associated with safety measures at the intersection of Bartholomew Street and Linfield Street, or any other intersections referred to in a traffic study. This was a traffic study that was done in May of 2020 by World Tech Engineering. World Tech Engineering representative Mr. Richard Benevento was here. He went over the costs associated with some safety measures at the intersection of Bartholomew Street and Linfield Street. The main 2 suggestions was either a signal option or a roundabout option. Both of them had a price tag upwards of $1 million. The signalized option was $1.465 million. The roundabout option was $1.345 million. We had a healthy debate from councilors regarding, quite frankly, what could be done now, because both of the options would be a 12 to 18-month lead time. At this point in time, it didn't seem as there would be anything that could really be done at this time, which would create maybe some other additional issues. So we're going to keep it in committee. In addition, we did not have, unfortunately, Captain Richards was attending the fallen police officer's funeral in Worcester, Massachusetts, so he was unable to attend. We will reschedule the next meeting. It is important, we want to hear from Captain Richards and the police department for any recommendations that they may have, because it is paramount. Safety is an issue in that area. We're trying to slow down traffic, and that is the goal and the will of the subcommittee and the council as a whole. So as I said, we are going to keep this in the subcommittee. We'll be rescheduling it, and we'll be reaching out to Captain Richards so that we can accommodate his schedule and continue the discussion that we had this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Sasslaw. Could I ask you to receive the communications received during the committee hearing, the 2 alternate estimated construction costs as well as the 2 maps?
Yes, motion to receive the 2 maps that we received regarding both layouts and also the associated costs with each project. So moved. Total 4.
Thank you. On the motion, any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. We'll now move to the Finance Committee report. Chairman McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Finance Committee met earlier this evening. Present for the committee were Councilors Gould, Manning Martin, Rossignol, Turco, and myself as chair. Also present were Councilors Welton, Matsoulis, Charest, Sasslaw, O'Neill, and Melville. There were 2 items on the agenda. The first item was a request by the mayor to combine the existing skating ring enterprise and golf course enterprise funds into one recreation enterprise. The mayor was here to explain his rationale for the request and for combining these 2 into a single enterprise. There were a number of excellent questions by both members of the committee and other councilors, which were addressed by the mayor and the director of finance, Mr. Gingras. I think it's worthy of note that a number of the concerns that existed were around visibility, and there was an assurance provided by the mayor that the accounting would be maintained separate, so that the council would continue, and anybody that wants to view it for that matter, would maintain visibility to each of the 2 entities' performance, and that they really only come together at the retained earnings line. With that, there was a motion by Councilor Gould as follows. The motion was to rescind the Skating Rink Enterprise Fund and Golf Course Enterprise Fund established under the provisions of Chapter 44, Section 53F and a half of the Massachusetts General Laws at the end of fiscal year '21, and to accept the provisions of Chapter 44, Section 53F and a half of the Massachusetts General Laws establishing a recreation enterprise that would include the skating rink, golf course departments, effective for fiscal year 2022. That motion passed in committee, Mr. President, 4-1, and I now bring that motion to the full council for consideration. So moved.
On the motion, as its Finance Committee, should we make this roll call vote? Chairman McGinn?
Yes, we need to do that. Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification, Chairman McGinn. On the motion, you've heard the motion from Chairman McGinn. On the motion, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
No.
Welton,
Yes.
Charis,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol.
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-1, one absent.
Chairman McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Second item on the agenda was a transfer of fund request, cable expense, in an amount of $203,364.35. Mr. Gingras is on hand to explain that transfer. There were no questions from the council, as it's a pretty routine, straightforward matter. There was a motion from Councilor Gould as follows. Move to approve transfer request from Receipts Reserve Cable Fund, account number 270-00003317, an amount of $203,364.35, to Cable Fund expense, account number 270-00005307, an amount of $203,364.35. That motion passed unanimously, Mr. President, and I now bring that motion to the full council for consideration. So moved.
You've heard the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton, Charis,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 10-0.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Chairman McGinn. We'll now move to motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Gould.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no motions, but I'd like to, Allison, please, I'd like to set up a Industrial Community Development Subcommittee meeting. And one particular item is the review of the language for outdoor dining, but I think there's a couple other things in there. I know it's a busy time next couple of weeks, so whenever you think you can work one in for me. Thank you. No further motions, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Gould. We'll skip over Councilor Minnie Martin. She's no longer with us. Councilor Sasslaw.
Thank you, Council President. Suspension of rules, I'd like to make a motion to add stop signs at the following intersections in Rolling Hills: Edith Lane and Raylene Ave, Nancy Ave and Raylene Ave, Nancy Ave and Albert Road. And I'd also like to make a motion to request to change the yield sign at Paul and Nancy Ave to a stop sign. So move.
On the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Sasslaw.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to replace the faded stop sign at Lindau and Hamrick with a new stop sign. So move.
On the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Sasslaw.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion that the crosswalks at Albert Road and Peabody Road, where the bike path crosses, be repainted as bright and as visible as possible. So move.
On the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Sasslaw.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to request the Forestry Department to cut back all branches on Albert Road and Peabody Road that are blocking the signs regarding letting motorists know that there is a bike path crossing so that it can be visible. So move.
On the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Council Sasslaw.
Thank you, Council President. And just kind of following up, we did have a meeting early this evening in the Municipal Safety Committee. Many of the high schools are out. Peabody High will be out shortly, the entire high school. And I would just ask the residents, as the summer comes and people have freshly paved roads, that, people do slow down. I know it's not a Ward 5 issue. It's a citywide issue. And just while it's on the topic tonight, I would just ask that everyone try and slow down as the summertime is upon us, and there are also a lot of young drivers, and every day we see the news with, unfortunately, fatalities, and we certainly don't want to see that in our community. So I would just appeal to the residents who are listening tonight to please slow down and talk to your young, inexperienced drivers as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Sasslaw. Councilor Welton.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a couple this evening, so please bear with me. First is move to receive item 8A and schedule a permit hearing. So moved.
On the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Welton.
Thank you, Council President. Move to receive and approve item 9B regarding requests for block parties at Alexander Street and Travis Terrace on July 4th and at the location of Lakeshore Road and Bay State Road on July 3rd. All papers being in order. So moved.
On the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Welton.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to receive item 10A and adopt as advertised. So move.
On the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Welton.
Thank you, Council President. Under an emergency preamble, request Department of Public Services repair the sidewalk in front of 1 Mansfield Street in Peabody, citing accessibility concerns for a resident who uses a wheelchair. So moved.
On the motion, any discussion? First one, roll call vote. Oh, Councilor McGinn. On the first motion, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charist,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Preamble carries 10-0.
On the second portion of the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Welton.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to amend City of Peabody traffic ordinance to designate 1 parking space at 106 Lynn Street to be designated as a 15-minute parking zone under Section 19-96 of Peabody Municipal Code. So moved.
On the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Welton.
Thank you. Move to request DPS install a sign indicating the parking spot directly in front of 106 Lynn Street as 15-minute parking. So moved.
On the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Welton.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's it for my motions. Lastly, I just wanted to congratulate all of the students from the city of Peabody that are graduating, whether it be from college or from high school. I did have the great opportunity to attend the Peabody Veterans Memorial High School graduation ceremony last weekend. And I did want to comment, I was quite honestly blown away by the caliber of students that we had that were graduating. The leadership of the class happened to be all young women. I found that they were amazing with not only their academic achievements, but more importantly, their courageousness to incorporate into all of their speeches, mental health. That was brought up a number of times. I think back to when I was, 17, 18, 19 years old, and that was very much stigmatized and not spoken about. And I was just very impressed by the caliber of their speeches, by the receptiveness of the audience, of the students, and just very proud to know that our city has done such a great job educating such wonderful leaders, and I feel like we'll be in very good hands for many generations to come. So congratulations to all of our graduating seniors, and best of luck.
Well said, Councilor Welton. Councilor Charest.
Thank you, Council President. I'd like to, on the suspension of the rules, move to accept 8D set up for a hearing. So move.
On the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Shrestha.
Under suspension of rules, accept item 9A and approve of renewal of license for Golden Link, junk dealer's license, with all papers in order. So move.
On the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Shrestha.
And lastly, I just want to, again, as Council Welton said, congratulate all of the graduates, college, in all levels of schools here in Peabody, of our students. They went through tremendous work to get where they are. I also like to just make a point of information. Ward 4, 4th of July picnic was celebration is going to be a little different this year with the abundance of caution, and to be able to kick it all off this weekend. 4th of July in Ward 4 will happen on January 2nd, Friday night. We'll have a movie night with also entertainment. July 2nd, I say. July 2nd, excuse me. July 2nd with a movie night. Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place on that one, right? Again, July 2nd, Emerson Park. We're going to have a movie night, but with entertainment prior to the movie going off. And depending on funding coming in, Mr. Mayor, we'll be adding more and more as we go on. So this is to kick it off. I think it'll be the first celebration of the city on Friday night, and all your ward councilors, you're more than welcome to come over and help out, since you'll be probably freed up that night to help out, and likewise I will assist you. At-large councilors, we are welcome. You can come over and help out too. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Shrestha. Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under suspension of the rules, move to receive item 7A, B, and C and refer to the Finance Committee. So moved.
On the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under suspension of the rules, move to receive late communications related to the budget, which includes a June 15th, 2021 letter from His Honor the Mayor, a budget overview presentation titled City of Peabody Fiscal 2022 Budget, dated June 15th, 2021, a detailed budget package titled Fiscal Year 2022 Budget, dated June 15th, 2021 from His Honor the Mayor, and lastly, Peabody Public Schools Fiscal Year 22 Budget, and this is approved by the school committee dated June 8th, 2021, and refer all this to Finance. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
On the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No further motions.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Councilor Matsoulis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have one motion, that is to request Public Works to clean out sewer drain at the end of Sprague Street. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
On the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Matsoulis.
Also, Mr. Chairman, this is a point of information also. Ward 3 will have our 4th of July activities, as always, at Conley Park from 9 a.m. till 12. There was concern that we may not be celebrating the 4th of July this year because of COVID. That almost happened, but it's not true. We put the troops together in short notice. The mayor got a little generous and helped out the ward by donating a couple more dollars to help us all out. We all appreciate that. And also, one of the reasons that I'm mentioning this right now is because a lot of the constituents don't know what's going on, whether we're having it or not. And I wanted the elderly at Conley Park to know that we are having it because they're a big draw every year. So moved. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Council Mitsoulas, and certainly for all the councils that are having events for July 4th, the city website's going to have that information shortly, so I recommend you send it to Allison Danforth, and she can post it for the details, so for those that are on the internet. Thank you, Council Mitsoulas. Councilor Turco.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm about to move to receive item 8E, but I'm not sure if we want to send that to Legal Affairs or to Finance. Any suggestions on that? That's the request for the clerk to update the city code.
Mr. President?
Yeah, Councilor Mello, could you?
Allison, were we gonna, I think we discussed that would be Legal Affairs. Is that, I mean, we're gonna need to get funding, so.
Correct, and we'll also have the vendor appear via Zoom to explain the process.
Say that again?
We'll have the vendor appear by Zoom through Legal Affairs.
I think it is Legal Affairs, and then we can make a request through Legal Affairs to the mayor for the financing for the actual project.
Thank you. Move to receive item 8E and refer to the Legal Affairs Subcommittee.
On the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Turco.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to move to receive item 8E, and then I'll further explain after I receive it. My apologies, 8C.
On the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Turco.
Thank you all. So my intention with 8C was fully to support PBD Access Television, and by supporting them, I mean through a resolution that I'm about to receive, which would support House Bill number 130, which is formerly listed as House 1440. And essentially what that is it allows municipalities to, let me go backwards. I'm going to let Jim ultimately explain this because he's the expert. And thank you, Mr. President, for allowing that. I know that's not typical. As a matter of fact, I might let Jim go first, and then I'll go after him. If there's no objection from the council, does anybody mind giving Jim from PBD Access Television 2 minutes to speak?
Yeah, we just want to suspend the rules. This is unusual, but we know Jim Palmer from PAT, who works with us. He'd like to be able to just come and speak to this briefly based on Councilor Turco's package material that he sent to us. Are there any objections at this time?
So motion to suspend the rules.
On the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Mr. Palmer, please state your name for the record and PAT's address. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, councilors. Jim Palmer, I'm the production manager at PBD Access TV. Currently 119 Foster Street, soon to be at 81 Main Street in about 5 or 6 weeks, so very exciting. The bill that is in the House right now, House Bill 130, what's happening is our franchise fees, the money that you voted on earlier this evening, that's based on cable revenue, and as people are cutting the cord, which is expected based on how technology is, we're not getting any revenue from internet or phone service. It's strictly a cable TV revenue. So what this bill is trying to do is following the model of the different cable franchises. It would impose a 5% fee on digital streaming providers because they are also using the public rights-of-way. Comcast and RCN are paying that franchise fee for the public rights-of-way, where the streaming companies currently aren't able to do that. So the monies would be collected at the state level twice a year and then distributed to the state general fund, municipalities, and community media centers. So the plan right now as it stands would be 40% of the revenues collected would go to the city based on population. Another 40% goes to community media centers, again based on population. And the last 20% would go to the state of Massachusetts general fund. Over 12 states have passed similar legislation. 2 more, Vermont and New York, are currently considering that in addition to Massachusetts. And I think it's important to note we also saw the recent cable subscriber numbers come out a couple of weeks ago. And in 2019, there were 17,000 cable subscribers, and when you fast forward to 2020, we lost 750 subscribers in the city. We're down to 16,258. So that number does continue to decline. So we're hopeful that this House bill would help make up some of the revenue that has been dropping, and we appreciate the council's support this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Palmer, for your comments. Appreciate it. Councilor Turco?
Thank you, Jim. I really appreciate you being a little bit more clear and concise than I could have been with the whole thing. So ultimately, what I included in the packet that I submitted to the clerk was examples of other cities and towns that have already supported this resolution. Most importantly, some of the things that PBD Access Television has done, not only over the last year, which I think we're all aware of, but in its 15-year history. And they're an amazing organization, and I think it just makes sense to try to support them in any which way we can. So if there's no objection from the council, or no comment from the council, I'd just like to read the resolution and ask for the support.
On the motion, Councilor Welton?
Thank you. Just a quick question to Councilor Turco or Jim, who's ever more qualified to answer. But the other 12 states, do you know which states they are? And the reason I bring it up, I'm just curious. I know some of the streaming services also have production companies, and I was wondering if that might impact. You said New York hasn't adopted yet. I was wondering if maybe California or other states that have significant revenue from production have taken it on yet.
Mr. President.
I happen to have the list. Do you have it in front of you right now?
Thank you. I do have the list.
Okay.
Yes.
Councilor Turco.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to Councilor Welton. States which have already imposed a similar fee on streaming services include Florida, Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, Washington. Individual municipalities in California, Colorado, and Illinois have also done so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great question. On the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? Oh, he's got to read. Apologize. We actually have to hear the motion. Councilor Turco.
Thank you, Mr. President. The resolution in support of House number 130, an act relative to streaming entertainment operators' use of the public rights of way. Whereas cable television operators Comcast and RCN doing business in Peabody requires city permission to use the public roadways in order to install coaxial and/or fiber cables at homes and businesses, and whereas permission is secured via a 10-year local franchise agreement between the cable operator and the city, and the agreement stipulates that funding is to be provided for public education and government programming services, of which a percentage is allocated to Peabody TV, our local PEG provider, to support their operation, a percentage to the city of Peabody, and whereas Peabody TV is a multiple national and regional award-winning nonprofit community media center located in downtown Peabody that has helped provide transparency in government by televising school committee, city council, and subcommittee meetings, as well as supporting events, intern programs, and coverage of citywide local events and happenings. And whereas since 2006, Peabody TV's professionally equipped production studio has provided an array of additional services, resulting in quality training opportunities as well as local and regional cable television programming, which help to keep residents informed of local government meetings, events, and happenings. And whereas Peabody homeowners have stopped cable television, utilizing instead internet-based streaming services, which has resulted in a 4.7% reduction of cable subscribers in recent years. Since 2015, services have decreased by nearly 1,000 cable subscribers since, causing Peabody TV to lose approximately $70,000 in 2019 from its operating budget, while the city of Peabody loses approximately $8,000, lost $8,000 last year for its PEG Enterprise Fund. And whereas there has been a national movement to allow cities and towns to assess streaming services along with cable provider for use of the public way, and many have already instituted the surcharge. And whereas House Bill 130, an act relative to streaming entertainment operators' use of the public rights of way, seeks to add a surcharge to all internet streaming providers doing business in the Commonwealth of at least 5% of the gross annual revenues same rate charged to cable operators and satellite providers, and therefore be it resolved that the City Council strongly supports House Bill number 130 and urges the legislature and our sister cities and towns to support this bill and encourage the mayor to ensure PBD TV has the necessary funding to survive while the bill is being considered. Respectfully, PBD City Council.
On the motion, Councilor McGinn.
This is going to be a roll call, Mr. President.
Be my recommendation, Ken.
Thank you.
Any discussion at this time? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould. Yes. Sasslaw.
Yes.
Welton.
Yes.
Charis.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Mitsoulas. Turco.
Yes.
Rozignol.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 10-0.
Councilor Turco.
No further motions, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Turco. Councilor Rossignol.
Thank you, Mr. President. No motions this evening.
Thank you, Councilor Rossignol. Councilor Melville.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think we only have item 8, 8B left over. We can forward that to Legal Affairs. So moved.
On the motion,
On that as well, Mr. President, can we also request from the city assessors, city assessor's office, and the city collector's office all applicable regulations, both state and local, with regards to what's referenced in the letter? So moved.
excellent. On the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. Councilor Melville.
Thank you, Mr. President. And Allison, I think we'll schedule Legal Affairs after the budget in conjunction with what we had discussed at the last Legal Affairs Subcommittee meeting, and we can include this on there. And with regards to item 8E, Allison, if you could just invite anybody you think would be related to that, for that when we do have that meeting. Also, I'd like to make a request that if we could also get the budget and all the applicable information with the budget emailed, if we could get that digitally, just for reference. Do we have anything else, Mr. President, that needs to be received?
Thank you. I believe we captured everything.
No further motions this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Melville. I have no motions this evening. I'll now entertain, Councilor Gould.
Can you tell us the dates, Allison, over the next couple of weeks as to when and what we're meeting?
Well, we're doing the budget next week. On Tuesday, we're doing the city side, which is the 15th.
Okay.
And on Thursday, we'll do the school side on the 17th.
Time on the 15th?
They're both going to start at 6 o'clock.
And, okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Great clarification. On the motion to adjourn, all in favor? Any opposed? It's a vote. This meeting is now adjourned.